Hello everyone, thank you for watching this video. So this feels quite awkward, but the purpose of this video is a few things. I've got some videos that I've been wanting to create for a while that I've got planned, and I need more experience talking in front of a camera or talking to a camera because it's very difficult. It feels very strange. You feel very self-conscious, or at least I do right now. But I'm just gonna keep talking, and I think by making this video, which isn't really that critical, but I think it's a good, easy video to start with. It's kind of get used to talking in front of a camera. So that was kind of like a little introduction. So what this video is about today, other than the purposes I've just explained, is it's going to be about this Nano aquarium that I have here to my left. It is a saltwater reef aquarium, and I wanted to take you through kind of like the philosophy behind it. It's not your typical reef aquarium. I think it's kind of unique, and it's got some really unique features that makes, I think, reef aquariums more attainable. It's not very scary, and it's also very low cost. I think I'm going to break down the cost of what it costs to get this aquarium. But yeah, so this aquarium is a 10-gallon saltwater aquarium. I'm not sure if I've mentioned that, and it wasn't very expensive. It started its life out as a breeder tank, actually, for some betta fish that I bred during the pandemic, the 2020 pandemic. I decided to try breeding betta fish because I had bought a betta fish with my girlfriend, and the male started blowing a bubble nest, and so I realized it was a breeding male and it was mature enough, so I bought a female, and I did the research, and I actually got it. I'll maybe flash a picture of some of the babies. I actually still have one of the only baby of that batch I kept, and I can also maybe show a picture of him real quick. So after I sold all those betta fish, I had this empty 10-gallon, and up until that point I'd only done freshwater tanks, and I was like, I'm gonna try my hand at making a saltwater tank. I saw a video released by, Everyday Reefer, or I can't remember, but I saw a video by some a reefing YouTuber, and he basically made a similar tank to this. So this was very much inspired by that. Something called like Average Reefer. Probably should have checked that before starting recording this video, but I'll validate that, and I'll probably flash the name of the correct YouTube channel. But anyways, without further ado, let's walk through this tank. It's a 10-gallon petco tank. I bought it during a $1 per gallon sale, so it was only $10. Then the filter you see on the side here, it's a hang on the back filter, and that is a Aqua Clear 75-gallon hang on the back filter. So it's actually intended for a 70-gallon tank. Even this is 10 gallons, so you might be thinking that's a really big filter for this tank. Well, it serves two purposes. It serves as a wave maker. You can see the flow in the tank is quite heavy up top, and reef fish are used to currents and tides moving in and out, so they're used to more flow. Their bodies are very jelly-like. As you can see them move, they're very flexible, more so than I've noticed with freshwater fish. So they need a lot of flow. So I don't have to have a wave maker in here because I've got the big filter. Then the light is a either 3 or 30 watt. I know that's a big difference, but there's a 3 in there. I think it's a 30 watt with a 3 watt UVB bulb. One of the bulbs here is a UVB bulb, and that gives you the good blues. It also has whites and the UV for growing the coral. It's been doing great. It's not on a heavy setting. It's probably on one of the lower settings that it can go to, otherwise the tank fills up with algae very quickly. And yeah, that was, so I was just going to do price breakdown. So the hang on the back filter, that was $50, $55. The tank is $10. The light was $50. Ordered that on Amazon. Then inside the tank, we have sand. The sand is a Fiji pink by Carib Sea. It's a live sand, as they call it. It comes with, there's like water in there with some live bacteria already pre-seeded. Helps with starting the tank and the cycling process. And then the rocks are, it's like a semi-seeded rock as well. It was cheaper than that, what you see, that really beautiful purple rock that's about $8 to $10 per pound. This rock was only $3 per pound. And it's starting to grow the coralline algae. Make sure it's still working good on time. It's got coralline algae on it, and that's starting to grow. It's taken a while, but it's starting to grow. So now I've got 30 pounds in here, so that's about $30. Let's see what else is there to cover. I think we can move on to the coral. So in here, I've got quite a few different corals. I've got on top, I've got 2 Kenya trees. Those are pretty cheap. Those are about $5. This one on this side here is actually a offshoot from that one. Actually, funny story. I bought it and it was attached to a shell, and one of my hermit crabs decided it likes that shell more than it liked its shell. And so even though that shell was super glued onto the rock, it somehow ditched its shell, got into that shell, and then worked its way, undid the glue slowly, but it took it about a week, but it eventually got the glue unstuck. And so this coral was walking around everywhere, but it would get stuck into the filter intake. And eventually one day when I had to pull it out there, one piece came off, and I just glued it here, and now it's starting to grow here. And that was actually really nice, because then I can move on to my next coral. We've got some green star polyps on this rock, and so it kind of looks like a tree surrounded by some green grass. That's kind of the look I was going for there. And then up front here, I've got a red, orange, bluish, mostly orange Rhodactis mushroom. It was about $25. Then I've got a Recordia mushroom up here. That was also about $25, a blue Recordia mushroom. I had another orange Recordia mushroom, but the Rhodactis got really close to it and stung it really badly, and so it shrunk. And I tried to save it. I tried to glue it onto the other side of the tank somewhere, but unfortunately, it didn't make it. It kind of just disappeared one day. And then we've got some pulsing zinnias. These are also pretty cheap. They've also spread quite a bit from where they started, but those are also about $5. And then over here, I've got some zinnias. I've got some orange zinnias, green zinnias, yellow, no, not zinnias, my bad, zoanthids. I've got some orange zoanthids, green zoanthids, and some yellow zoanthids. And then I've got some purple zoanthids behind on the back here. And then moving to the back, do this carefully so that I can see. Moving to the back, there is a green purple tip frog spawn. Gives you a nice panoramic view around the tank. Now I'm messing up my really good shot there where I'm hiding my notes. Oh goodness, can see all sorts of things now in the shot. Okay. Okay, and then the livestock, the fish. So right up front here, you can see I've got a court jester goby. That was about $25. I've got 2 clownfish. Those I got at Petco, pretty cheap. Court jester, yeah, that's about 25. Those 2 I got together for about $30. Then I've got I'm not seeing it featuring itself right now, but I've got a blue clown goby. That was about $15. And then I've got underneath this rock, I've got a symbiotic relationship with a watchman goby and a candy cane pistol shrimp. I just recently moved this tank, so they're kind of still scared. Even the clownfish were quite scared just a couple of days ago, but they're starting to get used to their new setup here. But yeah, I've got the watchman goby with the candy cane shrimp, and those 2 together are about $50. And then I've got some hermit crabs, some snails. I've got an emerald crab and a porcelain crab scattered throughout. And yeah, they all live happily together in this 10-gallon. At first I thought it was going to be a bit too heavy on the population, but I think the tank has been, especially with such a big filter, it's been managing the nutrient export that the fish waste. It's been able to handle that. I have to clean it about every week and a half, 2 weeks, just with a little magnet scraper, come in and scrape it. It looks really nice and clean now because I cleaned it up with a razor blade before installing it in its new location. So it does help if you want to get the tank to look really pristine to do that. Anyways, that concludes my video, and I see my time's up. I need to run. Thank you so much for watching. Really, this was kind of to show people what's possible for quite a low price, more DIY style. Don't have to buy like a fancy Red Sea tank with all the shelving and sumps and protein skimmers. This thing is the tank is almost just over a year old now. It's about pretty much a year old now, and it's chugging along. Yeah, one other thing, other than the orange recordia that I lost, I also lost the green bubble tip anemone. I tried to put a green bubble tip anemone in here for the clownfish. It lasted about a month. And I spoke to the store owner that one of the folks that works at the pet store where I bought it from, and they say they've not been having a lot of success with their green bubble tip anemones. Excuse me. So that was unfortunate, but I might try it in the future, but for now I'm pretty happy with the tank. So yeah, I've got some other tanks. I've got a Nano shrimp tank, freshwater, and then I've got a Celestial Paul Daniel and Nano freshwater tank. So if you like this kind of video, I can do that as well. But again, this was mostly just for practice for myself, to get used to talking to a camera and not to get too hung up on small things. So hopefully it comes out, and yeah, please talk to me in the comments, ask questions in the comments. We'd love to answer them. Thank you so much. Bye.